Hello, and welcome to another edition of Learn IT with Mr. P. This is the first in a series of videos I call Foundational Knowledge. People who work in information technology and other fields, I'm sure, we tend to use a lot of jargon and acronyms, and sometimes that can be confusing or intimidating to people. And the intention I have with this channel is to take information and make it into the most easily digestible and understandable method that I can so that your questions you have become your confidence. You can understand and deal with things with confidence and you can speak the language of people who work with computers. So today I'm going to discuss something called the CIA Triad. Now, we're not talking about military history. We're not talking about the Culinary Institute of America or the Central Intelligence Agency. We're getting what the CIA Triad means in information technology. So the CIA Triad is three fundamental legs of cybersecurity. These involve confidentiality, integrity, and availability. And these are just three examples of images that I got off the web. You can look it up yourself using the Google machine. And they are a framework for how to make sure your data is secure. Now, we're not talking about a specific tool, a specific program, or anything like that. It's just a framework for making sure that our data is secure. So, a little brief history. During the Cold War, when I was in high school studying things, we learned that the triad referred to the three branches of the nuclear arsenal that the US had: bombers, submarines, land based missiles, or ICBMs. Each of these three legs of the triad was capable of being a deterrent and destroying Russia in case we got into a war. So even if you knocked out two, the third one would still stand. Okay, let's get away from the dark symbolism there of the triad. And in information security in the 70s and 80s, we started talking about a framework of three interconnected principles that govern the sanctity and security of all data. The C meant confidentiality, that data should only be viewed by the minimal number and authorized people who have required access. So in financial types of stuff, we're going to say that only the account holder should be able to view their balance. So nobody else in the bank should be able to tickle in any person's account just for curiosity and see how much money that people have in the bank. In healthcare, only the patient and the healthcare provider, that doctor who's taking care of you at that time, should have permission to see your x-rays or your test results. So confidentiality is restricted in the healthcare by HIPAA. People who work in education have laws that require them to keep student data secure. I'm sure every example could be thought about who has access to data. So human resources data, nobody works in the company except, for example, should be able to see what anybody else gets paid, except those people most responsible to see what that information is. That's confidentiality. Integrity states that data must be accurate and protected against being changed. So again, your bank account, the balance should be correct. Nobody should be able to modify that number, put more money in, and take money out without them having authorization to do that. So the data should be integrity. The integrity must be preserved. If you're looking at other documents, for example, the deed to your home, it precisely should indicate who is the person who owns the property, details about the property, the address, anything else that is appropriate for that information. Again, that's integrity. Finally, A, or availability, that your data should be available when it's required. So if, for example, you're using your smartphone to look at your credit card balance with an app, that should be working when you try to access your credit card data. If you go to a website, for example, you go to Amazon, you click on a link to see where your status of your order is. Has it been shipped? Where it is in the shipping process? That should be available as soon as you click on the link. It should tell you exactly what's going on, and only you should be able to have it. So I'll give an example now of all three things boils into one. There's an image here of an ATM. Now, we've all used an ATM. I think most of us have. And when you go to use the ATM, only you should have access to that data on the bank. So that's the C. You use a PIN, you use a card, perhaps your smartphone to access it. That's confidentiality. Only you can use it. There are other examples here of confidentiality being achieved by having the screen being designed so that only person standing right in front of it can see the information being displayed. If you're looking at it a little bit to the side at an angle, you should not be able to see the information. The ATMs that I use often have a little rear view mirror on them so you can see that nobody's peeking over your shoulder. That's to ensure you have confidentiality. When you ask for your balance to be displayed on the screen or on a piece of paper that it prints out, it should be accurate. The integrity of the data is being preserved. Also, when you go up to the machine, it should be available. In other words, you don't want to go to an ATM machine saying, I can't do anything. I can't do deposits. I can't do withdrawals. I can't give you anything, information. Availability being a part of this example. So the CIA confidentiality, I integrity, A availability. I hope you like this information. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Ask me questions, comments. Those are all important so I can give you more of these videos as you go along your journey of becoming an IT professional.